the need to stop judging people. I used to be and when you're religious, you're very judgmental. The most religious people are the most judgmental because your religion states you have to have an eternal judgment. So if there's an eternal judgment, you have to judge in the now because there's going to be an eternal judgment that's based off of the judgments here. Well, Darius said this, and when he said this, the light bulb went off. You cannot have unconditional love where there is a judgment. And that is absolutely true.
This is the thing with that, what you were saying, what I think that's powerful about coming down and experiencing that which you're not, I think that's what a lot of people wrestle with, because they're still stuck in what you were talking about, this duality of good and bad and evil.
Eternal reward or eternal punishment. And we need to put these people here.
People here and these people there. Well, I've had lots of instances, which I will share on the channel at some point, but where
he wasn't always the good guy. He wasn't always the good guy. This is the piece. This is the
I'm
piece.
talking every single thing that people are like, this is an atrocity. I've
been a part of it.
I was heading it up. I was making decisions hard and fast.
Yes.
I've come back humbled.
Yes.
Many times.
Yes. And so that's another thing. If you want to say, what do you come back and bring back with you, is a third thing would be the need to stop judging people. I used to be and when you're religious, you're very judgmental. The most religious people are the most judgmental because your religion states you have to have an eternal judgment. So if there's an eternal judgment, you have to judge in the now because there's going to be an eternal judgment that's based off of the judgments here. Well, Darius said this, and when he said this, the light bulb went off. You cannot have unconditional love where there is a judgment. And that is absolutely true. They don't. It's literally an oxymoron. You cannot have unconditional love because if you have conditionals, then conditions which judgments are based off of, it can't be unconditional love. So if God is unconditional love, he can't judge you. There can not be an eternal judgment for you. And that's why he also says the only sin that is unforgivable is the one that you can't forgive yourself of, because you in essence are God in the flesh, meaning that if you can't forgive yourself, then you're going to live that hell over and over. This is why some people have OBEs or NDEs and they experience hell, because they believe in that and they believe they deserve that. So you will experience that for a time and then you'll get tired of it and you'll leave. But there's no eternal judgment that somebody else is going to put you in, because no soul can harm, entrap, or lie to another soul. So that allowed me to remove fear, to love better, love more unconditionally, and remove judgment. I think those are the three things that I say, most important things I brought back from these experiences, is to stop judging. I used to be against homosexuality and like, oh, you homosexual, you going to hell and da-da-da. Now I just realized they here experiencing that because that's the experience they chose to come and have. Yeah. Who am I to say? Because in the last life, maybe I was the homosexual. Maybe I was the child molester. Maybe I was this or that or the third. Maybe I was the one dropping bombs on people and blowing them up. So I'm not here to judge because you don't know the full history of your lifetimes. And if you don't know that, you can't judge.
This is the thing about soul records that you wanted to see into?
This is why I want to access that.
That I've been asking for my soul records for a while. Since Darius even said soul records, I was like, wait a minute.
Yes.
And the way I've been experiencing them is just waking up, boom, and I'm just, and it's a go. And I'm telling you, I wasn't always nice.
So let me tell you, I almost got to the soul records. I had set my intention to go. And as I put myself in sleep paralysis, this is so crazy because like all these things, I remember them, but they weren't big, so I don't really think about them a lot. This was like a little thing. And this happened like last week. So I set my attention to go to Soul Records. And literally a portal opened up. My eyes, now I got a eye mask on, so clearly my eyes aren't open. A portal opened up and I seen these white stairs and 2 white buildings and like a little pathway you can walk into. And that was the place where the Soul Records are. And literally, I started to walk up the stairs, and then it closed. I was like, "Shit!" I was almost there. But I knew But I knew as that portal opened, I knew that's what that was. It wasn't a question of is that. I knew. I was like, "Oh, that's the Soul Records." And as I was starting to approach it, it closed. And so what that tells me is, at that time, my frequency wasn't at the same frequency of where I was trying to get to, because your frequency also has to match. So you can't be low frequency and try to access higher frequency things. So that told me I need to get back into my meditation consistently. I need to focus on getting these heavy metals out of my diet, do a detox, get these heavy metals, get your frequency back up, because that door opened up just like this. And then it closed just like that as I was about to walk into it. I was like, shit. But yeah, so that was so the Soul Records is in my reach. I've yet to get there.
I'm telling you, they are.
I'll get there.
They are. And I'm no guru. And I'm no chakra person either. Like, I'm just out here regular. Like I told you, I was scoffing down dinner before we got here. And I don't know. I don't deal with plastic or anything, but I'm not all... no plastics and whatever. I'm trying.
I ain't into none of that.
I'm trying, but I'm doing my best.
So as you mentioned about we living in the construct, and you also were explaining that basically the way this construct has been made, we've experienced each and every layer of that construct, and it was created by. I guess people like us.
13 souls. How Darius explained it to me, because I had to ask him. Like, some stuff, I can watch the videos, but I had specific questions. And I went straight to him in Telegram and said, hey, I got questions. Do you have a couple minutes you can chat? And luckily for me, I caught him at a time. Now, this was before Darius became a lot busier. Like, now I don't know if I got that access anymore. He's doing YouTubes with Roseanne Barr and all these people. Like, he's kind of blowing up now. So I
watched it. I'm excited because
I love it.
I'm like, that means I could talk about this more without being barred, because trust me, they've blocked off. They've blocked off so much of our videos. We've been shadow banned so many times. That's why you only see us with our 10 subscribers. Bless you all. Okay. Yeah. But hey, listen. It just is, because we started talking about
make
stuff.
Make sure you share this video with me so that I can put it on my channel and direct them to your channel. So make sure you share this video with me, because again, this isn't about, I don't care about subscribers. I'm not trying to monetize a channel or any of that stuff. I just want I want to create that community feel where we can talk about this, because this is something people are not talking about. And it is literally the most important thing that the world could be talking about right now. Not bombs, not presidents, not this, not that. This right here is not religion, none of it. All of that stuff is literally pieces of the construct. And once you leave the construct, none of it matters. Literally none of it matters. The bombs, the presidents, the politics, the money, none of it matters.
Gossip.
None of it.
Celebrityism.
So then also you talked about celebration. We are supposed to go back home. Doesn't mean it's the end of the construct as we know it, meaning that you're still going to live your life, but it's going to be much different. And also, I mean, I have my own, obviously, knowledge about it and opinion, but just for the sake of the audience and people that actually don't know maybe as much as we do, doesn't mean also, because we are in sort of a simulation. I mean, you hear that a lot, a game, some people say, and also the idea that there's the great work, meaning that this game now went too far. So there's things that are putting people in scarcity, fear, and so on. So Do you have information about that?
Okay, so I'm gonna explain to you what I've been told, and not just by Darius, but a few other people who said they have seen, they have been given visions of the end of the construct. So my understanding, again, I haven't been given anything detail wise from Darius or anybody. Not from Darius. He doesn't give me anything detail wise. What he told me, he said it was shown to him kind of like a trailer, and all he would share with me is that it ends, and it ends with a celebration. What I understand it to be is the video game ends and we all become what our soul is, but within our bodies. So our physical and soul merge into one, and everything that we can do in the soul, we can now do in our physical body. And this is talked about in the Bible, where it talks about at the end, we're supposed to be given new bodies, and it's a new heaven, new earth, all that stuff. So it's really biblical. The Bible talks about it. So a lot of the Bible and all these texts have truth in them. It's just been so distorted by all of the fear-based stuff. So we are supposed to receive new bodies. So basically our soul in its purest form merges with our body and becomes one. And now we become the super men of whatever.
Our lives, yeah.
Yeah. And so as far as what that's going to look like when the construct ends, where we will go or where we will be, I don't know. That I don't know. What it was explained to me, and you'll hear people who talk a lot about the 5D earth and stuff like that. It sounds like it's something similar to that, where we'll all go to a place where all of the suffering and things will end and we won't have any of that. I just don't know if that's another layer in the construct or the construct is gone and we all go to a new construct. I don't know that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the best way I can explain it from what I've been told and what I know. I don't want to create hopium where people just sit around and do nothing and just wait for the construct to end, because that's exactly why Darius doesn't talk about the end of the construct, and a lot of people who've seen it don't talk about it in detail, and why probably much detail isn't given to them. Because if we tell everybody the details, then shit, you're not gonna do nothing. You're not gonna continue having the experience. It's the same reason why we don't remember everything from the other side when we come here. We wouldn't have an honest experience if we could remember where we came from. Duh. Like, everybody would be like, I'm gonna kill myself and go back. Like, nobody would want to be here if they knew
suffering
who we
in
were,
any way.
If they knew, like, nobody would want to be. So the least bit of suffering you experience, you go off yourself, because you know it's a video game and you don't have to be here. So again, that defeats the whole purpose of the construct, which is to come here and to experience stuff. So I don't want to go too deep into the end of the because I don't know. I didn't see it for myself. I'm just going about what people told me. And what I've heard other people say as far as moving from a 3D earth to a 5D earth and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of the spirituality
talk. And so I don't know.
Which I've kind of stayed away from as of late, because
it feels like it's a new religion. I know how to smell
religion.
Yeah, it feels like it's a new religion. It just feels like it's a new religion.
Smells like church. Yeah, I'm out.
It smells like a new church that has a different God. So I'm good. And then
that's how I felt about it.
The God is yourself, and now you're worshiping yourself, which you don't need to worship yourself. You just don't need to worship anything.
There's nothing for worship. And then the second I heard worship, I was like,
there's nothing to worship. You just exist. There's nothing to be praised or condemned, right, wrong. Again, duality only exists here. And so outside of this place, there is no worship and condemn, or right or wrong, or punish or reward. All that doesn't exist outside of this construct. So, again, I don't know what it looks like. I just know that from what I've been told by him and others is that it will end at some point. I do feel, and I'm just going to say this, I feel that most of us will still be alive when this happens. I feel I will be. Ever since I was a kid, I never felt I would die, like a natural death.
Oh, I might sound delusional to some people, but hey, he's been with me for ages. He knows this speed, okay? I've been told him when I first met him, I'm living past 100. And because you're a bit older than me, like, you got to be with me on this.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think we're going to live that long in this situation, but we're not going to see physical death. Yeah, we're not going to see a physical death.
I just knew it wasn't going to be like old people's home and this. It wasn't going to look the same.
Listen, to be honest, I don't think this thing lasts another, I'm just saying my own opinion. I don't think this thing lasts another 20 years. I can't see a 20-year future in this country.
Everything's going so fast.
So fast. And this is going so fast. And change is happening so fast.
Yeah.
So once we get in that next golden age, that's the last one. There will not be another down age after that. So once we go into golden age, it's over. And so now we move on to live forever. Because again, once your soul merges with your physical,
that's
your soul
you're
is eternal. You're eternal being. And so
that's that.
Have you guys seen that movie Sinners?
No,
not yet.
You should see it. It's a great movie. I love the movie. It's probably one of the best films I've seen. And I'll say this. Vampires are bad. But when you watch the movie, what the vampires represent is literally what it is on the other side.
Yeah. We've always been into anything like that.
But just the way they conceptually do the vampires in that movie, if you've been to the other side, you will resonate with what the vampire, you will resonate with the representation of the vampires.
Great. Yeah. Well, then so it's something for us to do.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
We watch movies. We still haven't got rid of our TV. We're not out here barefoot.
We ain't doing that. And again, see, that's that. See, to me,
different people.
That's the religious anything that makes you have. Anything where you start changing out of fear of something bad happening, that's religion.
Yeah.
Because that's what religion is saying. So if you make that change because it's part of who you want to become and there's no fear attached to it, I don't want to have a TV, I don't need it. But if you don't have a TV because you're in fear that the TV will bring evil thoughts to you, then that's foolishness. So if you don't want to eat meat because you just feel like you shouldn't eat meat, great. If you saying I'm not going to eat meat because I'm fear what the meat going to do to me or that's already happened. It's nothing you can do.
We were both vegetarian. We both grew up in households where you eat a lot of meat. He's French. Yeah. They eat all the meat.
I grew up in the South. We eat everything.
All the meat.
Flesh.
So, and then I moved to France and I ate all the meat alongside with him. And then 5 years ago, we were like, should we try it for a week? He's still on it. He's great. Yeah. He's doing his thing, but he feels good though. He feels good.
This is the thing.
You see what I'm saying? He's not doing it because of whatever. And he's me, as soon as I had, but as soon as I had my last one, I was like, I could do with some curry goat and rice right now.
So you ready for this one? You ready for this one?
Go.
Joining the Hebrew Israelites and studying that stuff for a while, you don't supposed to eat pork, right? At all. At all. Pork is like a sin. You're going to hell if you eat pork.
How are you going to do sausages?
Right. After I came up out of that foolishness, I had started eating bacon again. I said, oh my God, this is what I've been missing.
Bacon.
For years I hadn't eaten bacon. And I was like, what's wrong with me?
What was I doing?
What was I doing? This bacon is amazing. Like, what are we talking about? Like, these bodies are just, and because I understand what this is, I don't care about preserving this body. It doesn't matter.
It's the joy of it as well.
It's the joy of it. You have it. It's cool. I'm here to have the experience, whether the body fails it. So if my body fails, I already knew it was going to fail. I already knew that was going to happen. Like, I came here to have the failure of the experience of my body failing. Like, because my soul can't fail. So again, I'm here to experience that which I'm not. So even that. So again, be healthy, great. I go work out. I do all those things. But I don't put myself in a position of fear of anything. So I'm not in fear of my health failing. I'm not in fear of these things.
This is why I said he's great. Because he's like, I never really liked meat. I ate it because everyone else was eating it. I was in the middle of France. Like, what was I supposed to do?
So when I was a kid, I never, because do you know what it is? When you brought it up,
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, why don't we try to be vegetarian and see how we feel?" I was like, "Okay, fine, why not?" And then we tried it, and then memories like so, my memories started coming back. Like when I was a kid, I never really liked meat. It was just presented to me, but it's never some things I used to.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like more.
You never
like
liked the smell.
no, I never
You
liked the
never
smell.
liked the
And plus,
texture.
I grew up in a farm, so I had to
You
kind of like
see animals. Yeah.
yeah, strip the chicken and the feathers and stuff like that. This stunk. Like I was like, and then just I did that. Yeah, it was very.
I can see why.
Like,
And he don't
roaring.
even do fish because he's like, he
And then
even when
it's
we're
like,
eating meat,
do
he
you
was
know
like,
what?
no,
On my
no
soul
fish.
journey, everything is like it was like just don't eat that. It's just not what you came here for. Because when I was about, I think 6-7 years old, I had like a fish bone stuck in my throat at school. And they didn't know at the time what to do and what to give me, so I was stuck with it for practically the whole day, and then it went down eventually. But they didn't know that you're supposed to eat bread, and then she's trying to swallow the bread, etc. Just that
Had he been
put
in
me
Jamaica,
off.
they would have given him a dumpling
Oh,
real
yeah, they
quick.
would've given them
Yeah,
quick.
I tell you straight, that put me off of fish, and then since then I never liked eating fish. That's just I tried it and etc. I just tried different things, but what I realized that all my experience betraying to meat, fish, or stuff like that, it just
Just didn't stick with you.
was. Yeah, so some reason the experiences just
Yeah.
were telling me like stop eating it, like just.
But that's the
not what
thing.
you
It
want.
it wasn't a fear-based thing. It just wasn't an experience. It just wasn't an experience for you.
Yeah.
It wasn't that somebody had to threaten you to not eat meat. So that's the thing that stopped me from becoming a vegetarian. When I started seeing people talking shit, if you eat meat, you're a bad person. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, trying to scare me into being a good person ain't really
Sounds
going
like
to work.
church.
Like it sounds like church.
Yeah.
And so I reject everything that is scaring you into. You should be a good person because you want to be a good person. Or
matter of fact, I'm not a vegan. You see, like
you eat.
I'm vegetarian. So I eat egg,
but
fish, sorry, cheese,
egg and cheese,
stuff
milk,
like that. Yeah, no problem. And matter of fact, I just found out lately because I had like a bit of a skin issues and stuff like that, and I always say, you know what, I think it's the milk. So I stopped drinking milk.
Okay.
And I kept on having the problem. And I said, you know what? F this. I'm gonna get all milk, and that's what like the strongest milk you can find.
Right.
Best quality.
He threw out all the oat milk. But no, let me tell you something. He ain't out here trying to hold a family conference and say this is what we're gonna do. This is like the next day we woke up and
I said, nah.
There was no more oat milk and there was full milk
so
in the
now
fridge.
Since then, my thing is going, my rash is going. So I was like, you see, that is not the milk that gives you this. And I realized, okay, you see, there's other energetic stuff that we don't know about, and then most likely that's what gives you this element. So,
so I guess my whole rationale, and again, if you want to be vegan, cool. You want to be pescatarian, vegetarian, you want to be a straight carnivore, that's fine. My whole thing is, it's your experience. And I tell people this all the time. I don't care what you do. It's your experience. I'm not here to tell you how to have it. I'm not here to tell you what's the best way to have it, what's the worst way, because best and worst don't matter. It doesn't matter because everything is just here for the experience. Now, if you live here, you're in this experience and you're doing things considered evil, you're going to be judged here in this realm by the things you do. If you murder somebody, you got to be judged and go to prison, and you got to do all these things, right? These things have to happen because that's part of the duality and the punishment that comes with those duality, or the reward that comes with that duality here in the construct. But when you leave here, there is no duality. There's no right or wrong because there's no wrong. You can't hurt another soul. Yeah. Everything that you do wrong here in this earth is because you're hurting another person or another being, right? Anything you do wrong, if you're lying, you're hurting somebody. If you verbally, mentally, physically abuse somebody, you're hurting somebody. If whatever you're doing is hurting somebody. And usually if it's wrong, it's because it's hurting somebody, right? Well, even if it's financial, you robbed somebody. You didn't physically hurt them, but you hurt them financially. On the other side, you can't hurt anyone unless that person believes you can. And what soul on the other side is walking around believing people can hurt them? None.
Not one.
Not one.
Not one.
So there's no need to have right and wrong because you can't do wrong. Because you can't hurt another soul. You can't do anything on that side that would hurt another soul. You can't lie to them. You know why you can't lie to me? Because everything you know on the other side, I know on the other side. So if you came to me and tried to tell me a lie, I'm going to see right through it because I know
It's
what
like,
you know. No, that's not true. I know I can see your past lives because we're all connected by the same source. We're all connected by the same source. And so you can't go to the other side and be like, yeah, well, I just wanted to. I'm going to be like, no, that's not why you wanted to do that. I can see your feelings, right? I can see your thoughts. We don't even talk with our mouths on the other side.
No,
everything
it's all
is telepathy.
Telepathy.
It's all telepathy. Every word I've spoken in the out-of-body state, my mouth was closed. Every single word. And it was as audible as I'm talking to you right now. Yeah. When I looked up and I said, what the fuck? My mouth didn't say that. I'd heard that. And it was loud. When I was trying to push myself up out of my body, it sounded like I was so loud, I could have woke the whole house. That's why when I got up the next morning, I said, did you hear me last night? And my wife was like, no. So my point is this. What we are on the other side, we can't harm each other. So there's no need for right or wrong, good or bad, or any of that, because you can't do anything that would harm anybody. And that's the only reason you would do something wrong anyway. That's the only wrong you could do is to hurt somebody. And so I'm thankful for this experience. I'm thankful that I got a chance to come here. I'm thankful that I'm here in this time because there's a lot of souls that chose not to come back during this time. Yeah. There's a lot of souls that are leaving the construct daily and saying, I'm not coming back for that. So I'm glad to be here to be able to experience the end of it. And so, again, that's another thing that I guess I brought back from the other side is gratitude. I'm just thankful for the whole experience. And because I know what it is and I don't have to worry about an eternal punishment or any of that foolishness, I'm just thankful that I got to come here and see it. I'm thankful I got to come here and have children and see them grow up and be adults. I'm thankful that I got to come here and have two wives. I got to experience marriage twice. A bad one and a good one. I got to experience both sides. So
I think two souls gracious enough to give you that experience as well. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Two souls that say, hey, we're gonna let you have that at Christmas.
We'll do that.
And we'll have children by you. My eldest daughter is by my first wife. My other two are by my second wife. So
that's what I'm saying. These agreements, these agreements
is crazy.
I've learned about a couple of them.
Yeah.
And we have, when we met, it was a very big chance that there was no reason why we should have ever have met. We weren't even born in the same country.
Mm-hmm.
None of that.
Me and my wife weren't either.
It's how did I meet you? It was that type of thing. But I know why I met him. Now I know what some of the agreements were between us. I know what lives we had before. And even then, sometimes I will have a week of just learning, okay, these are all the ones you had with him about that situation. These are the ones where you had kids before. These are the ones where... But sometimes I'm I don't know if I need to know this anymore. That's why I was Soul Records, I want to get specific now because once it's you open them and then personally for me, it's I commanded it and I'm getting a lot of things that I'm
you're getting bits and pieces and you're not getting the whole story.
Or I'm getting whole stories about things I didn't ask for. The other day, he woke me up, so to speak, but it wasn't him who woke me up. And he was like, babes, they're trying to tell me something and I don't know what they're saying. And then I got involved because, I'm curious. I got involved. I was like, what are you saying? And then I start translating for him. They took me on this whole thing, gave me messages. So then when I woke, they were like, when you wake, you tell him. And I was like, okay. And I'm talking light languages. I'm talking whole things. I'm putting this into to find out what the translation is, and the translations are things that you could never know about us. You could never know any of this stuff, but they're clear. Bam, bam, bam. Like, I don't even speak light language when I'm here. I haven't even spoken tongues before, but over there, I'll be talking.
Right.
It's actually funny because you realize how related you are. Because this all started because before I went to bed, I spoke to my guides and I said to them, look, I need you, I want you to come to me for this and this and this. It wasn't an issue, but something I needed to know. So, but for whatever reason that was, that night, they went to her to get to me.
But hold in mind, I go to bed hours before him. Because he's busy. Because remember I said we homeschool our kids?
Yeah.
Well, our son, our oldest son, he wants to be a professional gamer. No, he already started. He's a professional gamer.
Yeah.
So I'm coach. He's like side coach buddy. I'm in the trenches with you. So sometimes they've got tournaments they've got to do. And I'm going to bed.
Right. Exactly.
So these are all things like I never knew this conversation happened with his guides or that he wasn't. This is nothing that I was aware of. So when this is happening to me, I'm just like waking him up from what I think is asleep, and he's like, I asked them last night, but I couldn't understand. I said, yeah, I know, you told me. You told me,
so y'all are connected even on the other side. Yeah. So
even on the other side, this is the thing. Have you experienced, like, I know you had the instance where you saw the beings with your wife, standing over your wife and your children, and and the beings in their room. Have you had any of those experiences where it's like, okay, this has just happened, and then this maps out in my waking life?
Not really, and not really, because I don't think the people in my house are on the same frequency I'm on in terms of what you guys are doing OBEs together. Like you guys are. I mean, you're not together, but
at this point,
I'm going to give you some insight.
I guess so.
Do you remember I talked to you about sort of like a dream that I had? So the dream, we're together in the dream, but it wasn't. I was conscious enough. Probably, I don't know. Must have had 65-70% consciousness in that dream, and she started telling me a few things. And I said to her in the dream, I say, "Do you know they're lying? That is not the truth." I said, "No, that's capping. Like you cannot believe that." And she was saying that to me, and like I was saying that to her, and all of a sudden, everything went black. But when I tell you went black, physically, like I was like physically black, like things got interrupted. So there was some interference. And I realized that because a couple of nights before that, or weeks actually, I used to find myself in a dream that I didn't want to be. I was like, I don't understand why I'm in this. So I used to wake myself out of the dream. And as I used to come out of the dream, I used to feel like a sort of a magnetic field all over my head. And I was like, oh, I know what's going on. I used to being able to now, if there's a dream that I don't want to be in, to be conscious enough to come out of that dream. But when that happened, everything went black. But you see, when you have an OBE, everything's really physical. That felt so physical. And I was trying to open my eyes. I got projected into another dream before I come back and wake up to this reality we know as we know it. So since then, I've been asking my guy a few things and, to do a few things that I wanted them to do. And subsequently, they obviously went through her for whatever reason, frequency match or whatever that is. And that's how you got all these messages.
Haven't really stopped. I'm not going to lie to you. This has been going on for about a week and a half now. Be coming to me.
Okay, so let me tell you about this one thing that just happened recently. And this was in the last video I did about the gratitude. I kind of went through a little small thing that happened to me. And this was the same night I had the stairs open up, or the portal open up for the stairs and then close. So that same night, I went back to sleep. So what I found now is like when I have an experience, or I'm trying to have experience, and I snap out, I get up, use the bathroom, and I try right back again. Like I go right back practicing the AIDA method, put my body in sleep paralysis, try again. So that same night I did do that. And I remember as I was, right before I was about to do it, my son walked into the kitchen and he was doing something. What was he doing? I can't remember what he was doing. This was in real life, like in physical life. He was doing something. And then he went back in his room, or he came to get something to eat or something. He went back in his room. So I'm putting myself back in sleep paralysis. The next thing I know, I'm in the kitchen and my son is in the kitchen. The kitchen is different because the microwave, if you look in the kitchen, is on the left side. This time it's on the right. He was standing in front of the microwave. And I looked at him, I said, "What did you say?" And he said, he didn't answer. And this whole time I'm looking at his profile. He doesn't even turn and look at me. I said, "What did you say?" And he don't answer. And I said, "What did you say?" And he's like, and now I'm getting mad because I'm like thinking I'm in my physical body. Like, now you ignoring me? Are you crazy? So I said, "Hey, what did you say?" And he never looked at me once. He just said Trump. And then I woke up.
Wow.
And I don't know. And then the next day was the day that Elon and Trump had started getting into that argument on Twitter, and they was going back and forth on Twitter.
Does your son
Yes.
know about that? And does like he have a Twitter account so he...
No. Oh, he don't know about that. But my son does see beings.
Okay.
So my son is very connected to the other side. My wife, not so much. My daughter,
so he may have been privy to this and been like...
He may have seen something. I don't know.
I understand.
But he was just sitting at the microwave, sitting there, and he did not look at me. And then I realized I'm not in my real body. I'm in my soul body. I'm looking at this through my soul eyes. Because when I woke up, I had my mask on and my headphones on. So I was sitting there looking at him, and I said, "What did you say?" Because I thought I was still in that moment where he had came in the kitchen in real life. So I was like, "What did you say?" And he never turned to look at me. He never would do that. And he never would ignore me. Like, that's my son. He never would do that. I was like, "What did you say?" And he just kept, doing whatever he's doing. I said, "What did you say?" And he's like, I said, "Hey, what did you say?" And I said it with force. And he didn't even never look at me all the time. He just said, "Trump." And I said, "Okay." And then I woke up with my mask on and my headphones on. And I said, "What the hell was that?" So this is in 2 nights. I done barely got to the thing. Then I had this happen. And then the next day was the day that Trump and Elon was beefing on Twitter and going through all that. And I was like, that's weird. And so, again, I try to caution people. It don't have to be nothing super in depth or super. It could be just little stuff that just lets you know that you got access to that other side. And then it gives you a little bit of...
do you keep a journal?
My YouTube is my journal. I make videos for everything that I do. Now I started making videos for everything that I do. Every experience, whether big or small. And I don't post all of it, but I'll make a quick video saying, "Hey, da, da, da." Because I'm not a writer person. I'm a video.
This is literally why we're doing what we're doing too.
Do you know what? It's actually very true what you're saying in terms of you're connected to the other side, because all of these started happening when I decided I want to receive more of my soul in my human form. I actually asked for that. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, if I have all these abilities, may they help me in my life now? Why wait? And, so I say, because that makes sense to me. So I actually ask for that. So now that's why when I'm in dreams, that doesn't happen all the time, but I'm starting being able to have more consciousness and realize if there's interference or if there's things that I don't like or, So that's very true. You are connected constantly.
So about your kids, not too deep. If you don't want to go too deep about them, like personally, I get it. But do you find also that they are more connected or in tune, or have gone through maybe similar things you did when you were a kid, as far as being in tune to the other side or being aware?
My son definitely. My son sees beings literally while we're awake. So
Okay.
this freaking creeped me out. And this is before I started doing OBs, before I even found out about Darius. I was in his room talking to him, and he looked over my shoulder and was like, had this big eyed look. And I was like, I looked over my shoulder. I'm like, what are you looking at? And I'm thinking his mom is in the hallway playing, like trying to play a joke. He's like, you didn't see that? And I was like, no. He said, it's just some eyes, a set of eyes. He's sitting right behind you. And he said, he. And I said, he what? And so now I'm like, hey, I'm getting in fight or flight, mostly fight mode. Like, okay, now I got to go handle some business in my house. And this is when I used to keep guns in my house. I'm like, oh shit, there's somebody in my house. And so he says a guy, he's in a turban. And all I can see is, he said, I see him all the time. He said he's tall. He's like real tall. He's like 10 feet tall. He said, I see him in my closet sometimes. I'll pull my clothes away and his eyes in, and he just be sitting in there smiling at me.
Oh, wow.
And I said, wait, what? I said, you seen this when you sleep? He said, no, I see this when I'm awake. He said, I just saw it just now. So he looked over, and when I say creep me out, because again, I'm not into OBs at this point. I'm still researching indies, so I'm not even there where I can physically control anything. And he looked over my shoulder, and I looked back. I was like, what are you looking at? Because we were talking, having a whole conversation. And he just did like this. He said, and I said, what are you looking at? And he's like, you don't see that? And I was like, see what? And I'm thinking it's his mom playing. He's like, you don't see that guy behind you? And he's like, and I was like, what guy? And he's like, he right there. And he was like, he's 10 feet, he's like tall, and he like kind of hunched over. I was like, bro, you watch too many movies. So then I did, in my head, I'm like, you watch too many movies. But then I said, no, don't do that. Because that's the very same thing your parents would have said to you if you would have told them about the being that was sitting in your chair that day. So I remembered that being right when you told me that. And ever since then, I always ask them, do you still see those beings? Do you still see this, that? I said, what they look like? And I told them, I said, if you ever see that, talk to them. They can't do anything to harm you. And so what I thought was really important was to eliminate any fear he would have of this that he was experiencing. So I said, whatever you see, it can't harm you. It can't do anything to you. So talk to it, ask it questions if you want to, and see if it responds to you. And so I don't know if he has. He never told me it did. And so, but he's more in tune to that stuff than anybody else other than me. Like it's me and him kind of tapped into that other side stuff. His mom knows, like his mom has seen shadow beings in the corner, like you said before. So she's seen it. Like she told me she saw it in the old apartment she lived in. And so she's seen this stuff. But he's more tapped. He's seeing more than she's seeing and stuff like that. So yeah, he would probably be the one that that probably has an ability that you know what I'm saying.
That's
and
not
I'm telling him not
awake
to suppress
now.
it. Yeah, that's awake now. So I'm telling him don't suppress that. Ask questions.
Yeah, that's
if you want to know how to see it when you go. If you want to know how to put yourself in sleep paralysis, I can show you. I said, I'm going to wait till you ready to receive that, and I'll show you how to do it. But I don't want him to ever like suppress that because that's really important for him.
What does it mean for you now? Your day-to-day life, bringing all these abilities back, on this earth plane.
Yeah.
Because what seems very difficult for a lot of people when they've got these experiences is to remain still excited about. I've heard a lot of people have been in NDE and remain still excited about certain things in this life, and to be on the same page than the people they felt they love one, like still sharing the same life, but with excitement. And it might be some stuff you're more excited about because now, like you said, like you're very excited when you come out of your body, but it's clear that people that are not at your level, but you still want to share, this life with them, may not share that excitement yet, or they might be excited about other things. You're thinking like, oh no, this is not great for us. That don't do us really justice in terms of who we truly are. So how do you deal with that?
So it's interesting. This is a conversation I had with Darius. I asked him about this because I was scared for a minute that I would get so far gone that I wouldn't want to be here. And I was feeling that way. Like I was feeling that. I'm looking at my children and I'm like, you're not even real. Like in the sense that your physical form, that's not real. You're a soul, but you're not even a 5-year-old. You're a grown soul on the other side. Like, you know what I mean? You're not my child. You're just
in a child's body, and
just in a child's body. Yeah, you picked me to be. We agreed that I would be your
parent,
father. Right? Yeah. For your child body, not for your soul. For your child body. I was struggling with even doing OBs for like a few months because I didn't want to get so wrapped up in the other side that I didn't want to be here.
Yeah,
I had to check myself because I was literally at that point where I was like, if they asked me to stay on the other side, I might just do that. And I talked to Darius about it because I was like, yeah, I don't like the way I'm feeling about it. And I know I didn't get this ability so that I could be selfish. This isn't about me. And he told me straight up, he said, listen, I get it. He said, I understand that a lot of people have that feeling when you first realize, like, you remember, like, yo, I'm supposed to be over there. Like, that's home. But he said, I want to make sure I say it the way he said it. He was saying people on the other side are depending on you to do your mission here. So you would be disappointing people on the other side if you didn't stay here and complete what you needed to complete. And I was like, shit, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
There's things that I'm supposed to do for my children, for my wife, that are part of completing the mission. And then on top of that, I'm supposed to be spreading the good work. That moment was the moment I decided to make a YouTube channel after having that conversation with him, because I need to channel this into something that's going to help other people and ultimately help my family, so that when my kids grow up and they see these YouTube videos, they like, oh, that's what my dad was on. I didn't understand he was a kid, but now I understand it, right?
Yeah.
Some of us came, again, I want to be very clear, every soul isn't here. Some souls have decided not to be here during this time. So to be a soul and be here during this time, you are a blessed one. And if you hear and you understand the knowledge that we have and are willing to share with others, you're super blessed, because you are contributing to the overall completion of the construct. Because the whole point of this is every experience has to be experienced. And that's where we are. We're at the point where everything that can be experienced in the construct has been experienced. This is why it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
And so I'm here to help other people usher into that ending by waking them up to the other side. And if I didn't stay here, then I'm not completing that mission that I was sitting here to do for this time. I've been here many other times. This is why I'm here this time, because I didn't have to come back. There's this notion that people say, oh, you forced to come back, forced reincarnation. That's not true. You're not forced to ever come back here. Nothing can control you or tell you what to do. So I chose to come back here for this time. And I realized that once I had my first OBE, I was like, oh my God, everybody needs to know this stuff. Everybody needs to know that they can do this. Everybody needs to know that this is a practice and they should be practicing. It's not a religion. It's not something that if you don't do it, you're going to be punished, or if you do it, you're going to be rewarded. The reward is just in you being able to remember who you were outside of this. And so to answer your question, that's how I was able to not allow this to become a dark thing for me and keep it a loving thing, because I'm here for a mission. I'm here for that mission for everybody, also my children. I got to have this experience. I got to raise them. I want my daughter to experience love, experience a loving father, experience all these things I didn't even experience with my father. So I get to right wrongs that he didn't do, right? So I guess that's the best way to explain that. Like, I know I'm here for a purpose. And now that I know what that purpose is, that's what makes me realize that I need to be here. I need to not be so focused on the other side. Used what I get from the other side to bring it here to help other people get to the other side and get knowledge and bring it back to their immediate group. Because I got 600 and something subscribers. That ain't enough. We need 100,000 people to be practicing OBEs. We need 1 million people to be practicing OBEs. I feel like once we get 1 million people, regardless of where you are, practicing this, the world is going to change for the better, because people are going to know this is a simulation, and it's going to be quick. And that's what's ultimately going to bring about the end of the construct. And when I say the end, people think end and they think bad, but this is because people live in this duality. Yeah, this program to think end means bad or whatever. End is the beginning is an end. Like, it's all the same. So
yeah.
That, to answer your question, I think I went around it, but I hope I hit it.
No, you didn't.
Oh, you did actually.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Cool.
You didn't. It was spot on.
That's really, okay, cool.
Yeah, you were spot on.
Yeah, because I think it's important for people to be able to kind of like find themselves here, because it's a delicate dance between between like not being like sometimes waiting for your loved one to catch up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, they may not catch up to the where you are, but again, even in that's their experience. They agreed to that, and you agreed to be there with them while they didn't go your route.
That,
you know what I mean?
True.
So again, my part in it is to love them no matter what they decide to do.
Yeah.
I think the central theme to all of this is unconditional love, because that is the only thing that is going to survive on the other side, is unconditional love. So learning how to love people who don't want to do OBEs, who think you're crazy because you're doing it. Loving people who think you're going to hell because you do this, or you're demonic or whatever, and you still love those people and you love those people anyway. Because in a previous life, you was the one throwing stones at Jesus.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, you was the one saying, give me Barabbas. You was the one saying, give me Barabbas, when you had the choice between Jesus and Barabbas. Everybody likes to think they were the good guy every time. And you weren't. And the minute you can realize that, the minute you can cease, you can lessen the judgment, which you still going to do it because you're human, but you can lessen the amount of judgment and increase the amount of unconditional love.
That's extremely good advice. So, especially once people start getting into their cell records.
Yeah.
If they can't do that previous to that, after they get in their cell records, they're
gonna start being less judgmental.
You're gonna have to like. I've had some really quiet breakfast times. Just put it that way. It's just
So as you know, we still are dependent on money and the money system and actually for some cases forced to work, because we still do have to go and work in order to survive, right? How do you change, or what did you find for you? What was the shift between not being survival mode and start actually experiencing life, having a truthful experience?
If that's your experience.
If that's your but for most of the people, it has been.
No, I got the perfect answer to that. Now I'm going to tell you guys. Remember earlier I said I once had a good job and I kind of went down into the realm where stuff was really bad, and that wasn't too long ago. So the whole time I've been doing this OBE stuff, most of that time I haven't even had a job. Not a good one. I had like little odd jobs I do here and there. And what I figured out was it's all manifestation through your emotions. We're not surviving because none of this stuff matters anyway. So as long as I keep my emotions in check and I stay in peace and I stay at that level where I'm just never too high, never too low, everything in my life has been working out. I started getting into trading. I've been starting seeing success in that. My wife has started seeing success in what she does. So the success is coming without me having to go to a job, because I know ultimately none of us going to one again anyway. Soon, none of us are going to be going to a job. And I tell people this, and people think I'm crazy, but I'm like, I'm telling you, it's coming. This whole financial system is coming to a collapse. We're watching it happen in real time.
I think a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of psychics, a lot of people who are in the spiritual community have been feeling it coming.
Yeah.
We've had a very unique experience, because I think the last time we had a conventional job, I was 19. I was 19.
And look at
he
that.
was like 20 odd, and I turned around to him and I was like, well, I got fired by text. I said, I'm not doing this again.
But look, and you guys are quote unquote surviving. So we're now starting to redefine what living is. Is living having a bunch of shit? Is that what living is? Or living being able to homeschool your kids and give them the information that you getting in the OBE state? Is living me being able to spend more time with my family and enjoy the things that normally we would just enjoy, being able to eat dinner together? Because when I was working, we couldn't do that. I wasn't at home. You know what I'm saying?
And the blessing is you're here now talking to us. But had you had a more constrained week, you may have
not been able to have this conversation.
Able to do this, because this would have been family time.
Yep. And so when I tell you, the world, we're just starting to redefine what it means to live now. For a long time, living mean having more than somebody else. Well, what happens when everybody has enough money to buy whatever they want? Then the things people want become less experienced.
So you saying this to me, I'm hearing a mirroring back. This conversation we're having is full of synchronicities.
What happens when everybody wakes up and they have $2-3 million in the bank? Then the things that people strive so hard for become less important, because everybody can get them. The only reason we have money problems and all of this financial foolishness is because there are haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
But once the haves and the have-nots are the same people and everybody can have, then who cares? Then you stop seeking things that people have, because you can get whatever anybody else have, and now you start seeking the things that matter, and those are the things that you were brought here to do. You start focusing less on having more, and you start focusing on being more. And I think that's where we're starting to pivot to right now. I think for a long time, society has been about having more, who can have more. I think now, especially with OBEs starting to become a common thing and people starting to talk about it, it's going to be, how can I become more? And that's what Jesus, Buddha, all of the great prophets and Christ figures were all teaching, was being more, not having more.
I could really talk to you all day, to be fair. I'm not going to lie to you. Really glad that we
likewise.
I was glad that we actually we're going to do this again, clearly.
Yeah, for sure.
But just a couple more questions to close out. We've actually, funny enough, got 21 questions for you. I know, but we are about 18, so we're going to be finished in a second. Sure. All right.
Dang. All right.
Now, I know lots of people say that there's risk, and you could catch it on YouTube sometimes of people saying the risks behind OBEs, the risks with the dangers, which I don't appreciate, because I feel like it's another fear-based thing. And if that's how you're going to turn it, just so that you can be the gatekeeper to all of this, because I guess, let me guess, you're going to sell a course telling us how to... That energy, and I'm not judging, because maybe you are in your own scarcity and you feel like that's what you need to do right now. But as someone who's experienced it, talking to someone else who's experienced it,
you needed to do.
What is your view on that? Are there any risk, if any, are there any, or what would you say is the most thing that would have to keep you grounded, or what people would consider protected? Is there a state of mind? Is there a belief that they have to let go of? What would you say it would be?
I'm going to answer that very simply. Only if you believe that there's a risk. You're in total control of all of this. So if you believe that there's something that can follow you back from the OBE state, because I hear that too. Well, you got to be careful because spirits will come back. No, they won't. No, they won't. Because the spirits that can come back, they're already here. Everything is here. Everything is already here. You just can't see it. So if you believe that something bad is going to follow you back, then that's what will happen for you. Nothing can harm you unless you believe it to be so. And I hold on to them words, and I know it to be true because when them Lyrans came, I thought that there was a possibility they could stop me, not harm me, but stop me from going. And I told them, I commanded them to move, and they moved.
Listen,
I'm not as strong as a
They're big,
Lyran,
aren't they?
in my physical form. I'm pretty sure 4 Lyrans could take me down. And so for me to tell them to move.
They're big. Yeah, no, they're big.
Big, and they don't look like they big. And you see so a big human body with a lion head, you be like, hey, hold on. So when I said move, they move. Yeah. When I said move, they move. When that shadow being, I tapped it on the shoulder, it didn't turn around and punch me in the face or scare me. It just looked at me, I looked at it, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I don't believe anything can harm me. So simplest way I can answer that is if there's any drawbacks or anything, that's because you believe there are.
Yeah.
And I don't. And if you don't, there won't be. So, but I have heard that, and I get where people, and I think it's exactly what you said, is people that have a savior complex. So I'm going to create this fear so that I can tell you how to overcome it. You don't, listen. Yeah. We are nothing special, but we are everything special at the same time. When I say that because when I say we're nothing special, we aren't doing anything that anybody else can't do, right? So anybody can have an OBE, anybody on this earth, and everybody is having them every single night that you go to sleep. Your soul is not snoozing while your body is. Your soul is doing whatever it wants.
Yeah.
You just not aware of it because you fall asleep before you hit sleep paralysis.
Beautifully said.
Yep.
Okay. In your heart of hearts, with this whole experience, now you know what you know. Who are we, and why do you believe we came here?
So I don't know if you can see this T-shirt, but it says "Ye are gods." That's in the Bible. That's in the Sumerian text. We are particles of an infinite energy that is 100% pure, unconditional love. And we are literally here just to experience everything that we are not. And I know that to be true because on the other side, I can fly. On the other side, I can command beings to move. On the other side, I don't speak with my lips. I speak with my mind. What is God? Omniscient. He knows everything. On the other side, I know everything. What is God? Omnipresent. He can be everywhere. I can be anywhere and everywhere that I want to be. My soul can be in one realm and split and go to another realm if I choose to do so. God is all-knowing. I know everything once I'm on the other side. I can command to go places. I can say whatever. God ain't never spoke to a man with lips. It's always just been a voice that they heard. I ain't never spoke to nobody with lips. It's just been a voice. We are God in the flesh, living a human experience. And I don't say that in an egotistical way because I'm not God and you're not. We all are God. We all are this being, this energy drizzled down into particles, living in human flesh suits, walking around, experiencing. What better way to experience everything you can experience than experience it through 8 billion different people, all having different experiences? You live in London. You're from France. I'm from North Carolina. My wife is from Quebec. Like, how is God not able? How is God going to experience everything without being in all these different places? And He's doing it through these flesh suits, and we're doing it through these flesh suits. So that's what, from what I've experienced, that's what I believe. And again, it's not an egotistical, I'm God, I can blah, blah, blah. I'm God, you're a devil, blah, 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 all that foolishness. Every single person, good or bad, is a particle of the creator. The most high frequency is a particle of that frequency experience in life so that it can give that information back to the frequency so that it understands what it is not. And that is it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well answered.
Yeah.
Well answered.
And that's just, and again, people can challenge me on that, but I just say that is what I've gathered from the downloads and from my experiences on the other side.
So, tell us, do you have any other creative projects you're doing? What are you? Where can people contact you? Any other works to share?
Well, right now I just began building this YouTube channel. So most people will find me there, Soul Traveler 77. Mostly there. I got a Telegram group, and that link is on my YouTube, so they can join my Telegram group. And it's really there for people to share what they're going through, share experiences they had. I'll share it when I have them. I'm gonna share. Again, I'm not a leader of anything. I'm not a messiah. I'm here to build a community of people who all have this ability and who are exploring this ability so that we can all share. I get motivation from some of the stuff you guys have told me you guys have experienced today. I've got motivation. It's made me be like, yeah, tonight I'm definitely going to try because I want to get to the soul records tonight. Because if you saw that, I want to see what my stuff is saying. So again, we're feeding off of each other. This is God feeding off of God. Like this is God exploring. This is God. What's the word I'm looking for? Pushing God to go into other areas. Though this is all part of the experience. And so I got my Telegram group. I got my YouTube channel. I know at some point when I've had enough experiences, I'll probably write a book. But that's just going to be for my own journey of how I got from this poor little country boy in North Carolina all the way to a guy who understood that he was God and had seen the other side. And so that's a long journey, and it's a lot of it in there, stuff I went through as a kid, stuff I saw as a kid, and how it transformed me into the person I am today. And that book can't be written yet because I'm still transforming. And maybe it never gets written. Maybe the construct ends before I'm able to do it. And then all you guys will know my story because we'll all know each other's story.
Yeah, it
won't matter.
It's beautiful.
But right now, I'm just sitting in this space, like just doing my YouTube channels, helping as many people as I can to overcome their anxieties about it or fears about it or just worries that, it's not happening for me yet. Okay, well, let's keep persevering because there's no alternative other than you either going to keep doing the method or you're going to stop. That's really it. So if you stop, you'll never know what it feels like.
Yeah.
But if you keep going,
if someone wants to reach out, so if someone wants to reach out to you, Telegram.
Telegram.
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on, I'll tell you because and that's crazy because like I said, I'm so new to a lot of this stuff. I don't even be knowing what my Telegram names are and stuff. I don't know what my stuff is. So hold on, I'll tell you right.
I'll put the links to all of your ones anyway.
No problem.
So that people know how to contact you.
Perfect. So it's Soul Traveler 77 on my Telegram, but it's Soul Travelers 7, and that's with 3 7s. So that's the name of that Telegram group. But the link to the Telegram group is on my YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to join it, they can check it out on my YouTube channel. The link is right there.
Great. Yeah. This has been a wonderful conversation. It has surpassed all of my expectations. I try not to expect too much, but I'm excited about everything.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Hey, that's the best way to live life. Be excited about everything and don't expect anything. That's perfect.
Yeah, but this has been wonderful.
Yeah. Same here.
We will do this again.
For sure.
You've been a wonderful guest. We love your insights. Yeah. As you experience more, please feel free to just keep on sharing. Thank you for being here. And it was an honor.
Yes. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. So everybody, please check him out and leave in the comments section below any experiences you've had and what inspired you about this conversation. Till next time, ciao.
Ciao.